be sure to check out my Veve and Omi investors group in the description down below. Together we build generational wealth and go over everything you need to be profitable in the Veve markets. Yo, what is going on, y'all? I'm Cavell Anderson, and we are back with another Veve and Ecomi video. If you watched the first part of this, we actually heard John here cover. And if you don't know who John is, he's the former Disney executive that he used to work there. He says he's been there 10 years. That was actually news to me. I didn't know that. But yeah, he covered a little bit of Veve in the last video. This one, he's going to be covering a little bit more of it. So I like to hear his perspective and opinions on Veve, obviously because of his affiliations with Disney. So I think that it is important to hear what people are thinking, whether he has inside information, not whether he knows what he's talking about or not. I love to just take in people's thoughts and opinions and just, you know, like consider it. I like to consider everything. I consider all opinions. Like, I know I dismiss a lot of people's opinions and things like that, but usually it's opinions that I dismiss or opinions that I have answers to, but you don't want to hear the answer or accept the answer. And it's like, if you're not going to accept that, if you don't want to go based on the facts, I mean, I can't really help you. So yeah, that being said, I do love to hear these opinions. I want to hear what he has to say. Be sure to drop that thumbs up, subscribe, turn notifications so you stay updated. And yeah, let's jump into it. Let's see what else is happening with his thoughts on Veve.
Couldn't carry that. The third thing that was really important to me and was something I was concerned about was, would Disney look at the metaverse from the perspective of licensing, like their deal with Veve, which basically says, okay, we're going to let you use our characters and you give us, let's say, 10% of the revenue that comes from them? Or were they going to look at this from a perspective of storytelling and publishing? And what they've done is they've positioned this role reporting to Kareem Daniel, who's in charge of all content distribution for Disney. And so Mike is reporting directly to Kareem. And the way to what you should take away from this is that this is clearly placed as a content publishing, storytelling distribution role. And that definitely tells me that Disney will be moving into self-publishing here in the future, which I think is really the right way for them to go. My dream is that they have the Disney Magic Chain, which is the theme park on the blockchain, let's say. And this is basically what I took from this is confirming that that's the direction that they're going to go in. Now, how long will it take to get there? I don't know, but that seems to be that they're communicating out to the company and the community.
So this is something that could be seen as bearish news for Veve. If Disney's planning to, you know, have their own Disney World on the blockchain, this is one of those things that people are concerned about, as if Veve is still not, you know, not going to have what Veve has. So Veve has the right to these things. Now, I am curious how everything is going to work. We do need some details and information. So let's say Disney decides to take everything and we own the assets. That's where the ownership aspect comes in, the interoperability, being able to take our assets off. Can we still use our assets in the Veveverse, or is Disney going to try to lock these assets down? Is it possible to lock these assets down? This is the type of questions that stuff like this brings up, because it is very concerning. Like, are we going to be forced to use Disney's platform for our Veve assets? And will Veve assets even be able to be used properly and effectively on Disney's platform? Is there going to be some type of link and affiliation? I think that, me personally, I believe that Disney is working very, very closely to Veve. I really feel that they're working very closely. Well, we know that they're working very closely, and I feel that that's for a bigger reason, a bigger purpose. And I think their partnership with this metaverse is probably going to be more along the lines of a partnership with Veve. The fact that they've made this distinction that Ecomi and Veve has separated in a sense, the fact that they're making distinctions and stuff like that, I believe that some type of play is coming. I think that some type of play is coming for sure. And honestly, like I said, I think a big part of my optimism and why I'm so bullish in this project is because of my faith in the team. I think that regardless of what happens, even though I don't understand it right now, even though a lot of stuff is unclear, I do have a lot of questions, like these are serious concerns that we do need definitive answers about. I trust the team. I know that the team is going to do what's in the best interest of all the investors, and that's why I'm not too worried. But I would like to hear some opinions and some thoughts on this stuff from the team themselves. I want to hear what they would have to say addressing this stuff. I think that needs to be addressed. But anyway, let's dive back in, because this guy, like I said, this guy, we don't know how credible of a source about this stuff he actually is whatsoever. He said he was at Disney 10 years, but that was like 13 years ago or something at this point. So Anyway, let's dive in.
Finally, the positions in Burbank, sitting on the studio lot with all of the, all this, the CEO, all of the C-level execs are all sitting on the studio lot at the headquarters in Burbank, and that's where this position is located. And I felt that this person had to be there just to be in the conversation, in the mix with the chairman of all the different divisions, and the top content executives are there too, like Sean Bailey, who oversees all film production, Kevin Feige, who oversees Marvel. They're all on the Disney lot. And so Mike is sitting there right with them, talking and thinking about how NFTs in the metaverse are going to play.
It's all, you and I have talked about this a little bit, and I think that you break it down so well.
So he's talking a lot about the metaverse and Disney's preparation for going into the metaverse. What's interesting to me and what I've always found suspicious is when we watched that video of Disney's CEO actually talking about the metaverse, it literally mirrored what David Yu was talking about, which means that him and David Yu have clearly talked about the vision of the metaverse. And for him to be saying exactly the same terminology and the same things that David Yu has said in the past, and that was a complete, like the Disney CEO, he was literally on television. Like, it wasn't like he was with David or anything like that. He was just on television speaking about what his metaverse was going to be, and it aligned exactly with what Veve said theirs was going to be. That's just something that's stuck with me. It's like, why are you talking the same as David Yu? When I heard him talk like that, you all know how much I stalk Veve. I stalk Veve all day, every day. So to hear, like, I know when something has been said by Veve, and when he gets to talking like that, like, that's just stuck with me. So I like this whole vibe is just giving me a feeling something is going on, but I can't exactly put my finger on what it is that's going on. It's confusing. It's a lot of moving pieces, a lot of moving parts. And honestly, this is why I just be chilling, laid back, enjoying the ride and seeing where things go. This company has not let me down yet. This company hasn't let me down yet. So until they do, they have my full trust and full support. At the point where something big or massive changes where you just let me down, then that's when I'll be a lot more critical. But as of right now, this company has made the right decisions all around the board, in my opinion. So yeah, that's why they have nothing but my optimism. But let's hear what else he has to say. He's bringing up some good topics and some good points here.
I'm curious what kind of ripple effects you think this will have throughout the industry. It feels like Disney was sort of the first to make a move this big. And I think you and I had spoken about, I think Universal was hiring like an intern level metaverse position, like seemingly, way behind.
What if Veve was literally the people who brought, like, what if David Yu and them was the first ones who brought Disney into this space officially? Like I don't mean just in an NFT standpoint, Veve is who they gave the license to, but what if David Yu is the one who really convinced Disney of the importance of NFTs and why these were so valuable and why these are the future? What if everything that Disney is doing is really coming from Veve, coming from David Yu? Like, even if there's not an acquisition, I can see a very close partnership. And I don't know that a partnership would be a conflict of interest with all the other brands. Like, if Veve is still in full control and Veve is still Veve and separate, but it just has some type of ties to Disney, would that be okay? Like, it would DC still want to pull their content if, let's say, a metaverse was funded by Disney? If Disney is funding the metaverse, they have their name, logos, and everything on aspects of the metaverse, would that be okay with DC? I would just assume that DC would want their own, like, name and stuff all over the metaverse as well. But we already know that there's going to be Veve City, there's going to be a Disney City, and we know that they're planning on doing this already. So is this why they're planning on doing this? And is that enough? Could the Veveverse literally be, could what Disney is advertising as their metaverse, could it just be a portion of the Veveverse? Like, this is all things that I'm wondering. And would they do that? Is there any benefit to doing that? Like, should they just build their own, or would it be better that they're in bed with Veve? And like I said, would them being in bed with Veve be a conflict of interest anywhere? Like, it's just a lot of concerns, a lot of questions that I have.
How does all of the moves Disney seems to be making, how does it impact the other companies in this space?
Yeah, it has a lot of impact. So back in 2005, the year Iger became CEO, I'd like to think of that as a transition point for the whole industry, where franchises became the key central point of strategy. And I think of this as being that's another transition point, a milestone where Mike White's mandate, as they put in the press release, is identical to how my franchise team was set up. Bring a go-to-market strategy, develop cross-company unified go-to-market approach, and develop the plan on behalf of the entire global Walt Disney Company. No one else has done that yet. Now, I am aware, and this is a confidential, so I can't say who it is, I am aware of one of the other Big Five studios that has an SVP level position working on Metaverse. They're just not ready to announce it yet. So there is another studio that is doing the same thing. But yeah, you look at like the job postings, and Universal was an intern in their consumer products licensing group, and which was very curious. Help them develop their NFT strategy. It's like, you're doing that with the intern.
Yeah.
That should be. I mean, and I'm sure there might be more senior people working on the challenge there, but it's just the way they're communicating it. They're not seeing the optics of it. Skydance, now this isn't a big studio, but Skydance just posted for an internship.
And they do like Mission Impossible, and they're doing that Skydance. They have a bunch of those kind of franchises.
No, they're more a production company, but they are kind of becoming a little mini major studio themselves. They're setting up a consumer products team. So I think Skydance is the risk here is that you're thinking about this as licensing. And you need to think about this from publishing, content distribution. So Disney got that right. The other studios have not gotten that right and are behind. And
we have a whole episode, I think it was our mini episode, where you kind of really break down publishing versus licensing versus promotional deals and how all that plays out.
We don't need to revisit that.
We don't need to revisit that. Please don't come at us on Twitter the way you did after that episode. Lordy, lordy, lordy.
I mean, to be fair, like we even had people from Veve speaking out against him not knowing what he was talking about on that front. So yeah, like he got called out for that. So I'm pretty sure, like, look at the Veve community be having people go, they don't be wanting to talk about stuff. Veve community be going at people, yo. We strong over here.
Yeah.
Final thoughts?
I have two last thoughts, and we can move on.
Love it.
The first takeaway is that Disney's moving into publishing, but they'll continue with licensing for the short term. Let's say the next year. So you mentioned
the next year. What? See, he don't be knowing what you're talking about. He don't be knowing what you're talking about at all.
They have an existing licensing deal with Veve, and they just announced a new Toy Story collection of NFTs as part of that licensing deal. So what that means is Disney's giving them use of their characters. They'll sell the NFTs. Disney gets a percent, let's just say 10% back as a return, traditional licensing. And I think that will continue for the next, let's say 18 months at least, until Mike White gets his project set up and moving. I have one takeaway that's disappointing from this part of the announcement is that my feeling has been that Disney's best strategy is the theme park on the blockchain. And what they announced was that this was really supporting Disney Plus. And Chapek has said that once before at an investor conference last year. I think that's wrong, but I also think that that's a little bit of either misdirection or just intentional trying to support the Disney Plus service with a little bit of a sexier kind of tech.
When you're talking about this, so the Veve deal all along has been like a Disney Plus sort of deal in the sense that you could buy these NFTs and get a subscription to Disney Plus. That was the promotional side of the deal, right? Like it's always been.
I mean, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense that you would say, hey, let's partner with a company with no name who brings nothing to the table, who you don't need whatsoever, and let's partner with them so they can boost our Disney Plus. Like, they boosted Veve. Veve had like 60,000 users or something on it, and then we got to millions after the deal with Disney. Like, you literally made Veve relevant, and like that. So it doesn't make sense that they got 60,000 users over there. Let's boost Disney Plus with Veve that already had, like, Disney Plus already has over 100 million people on it. Like, what? It kind of ain't adding up.
Are you saying, broadly speaking, he seems to be pushing this as like a Disney Plus idea, not a theme park on the metaverse, or are you talking specifically around the interactions with Veve?
It's a little bit different. So the licensing is Veve, and they'll do more licensing. So Veve will have more characters and properties that they'll sell, and Disney will collect the royalties. What I mean by the disappointment of Disney Plus is just that the communication in these announcements twice now has been that we see a bright future in NFTs to support Disney Plus. And it could be the promotion like we saw, the Golden Moments promotion, or it could be we prioritize the characters and worlds that we're releasing on Disney Plus. And I think they need to think broader than that. They need to think about existing franchises like Pirates of the Caribbean. They need to think about original one-of-one arts with Mickey Mouse, which have this huge tradition, by the way, of one-of-one original pieces of art, of paintings and other creations around Mickey and other characters. So I just would like to see them.
But the fact that you've got Mike White sort of sitting
on
where he does, as broadly as he does.
So he want this is the same vibes I got last time. He's trying to capitalize on every single dollar, and I feel like he's thinking small. I feel like he's thinking pretty small, pretty limiting in the type of world that he wants for Disney. He wants Disney to create their own world where they have all this stuff. And I mean, them using their own brands and stuff like that, I guess from my perspective, it is a little biased because I want Veve to be the one to bring all that value. And obviously, like that is at the mercy of Disney. Disney is the ones who helped Veve get to this position. So the fact of the matter is, but at the same time, like there can be an amazing metaverse even without Disney. It just comes down to who has the better vision, to be honest. It comes down to who has the better vision. And I'm still very much confident that David, you and this team on Veve has the better vision. But execution is also important at the same time. I feel like obviously Disney has the advantage on executing. So I think that with these partnerships, with like the fact that Alfred Kahn has revealed that Veve has a partnership with Niantic. We already know that they have a deal going on with Disney, but we don't know all the details of this deal. I don't think anything's off the table as far as collaborations when it comes down to Veve. I think their collaboration strength is insane. I would not be surprised to hear about some type of Veve being involved with the Disney metaverse. I would not be surprised to hear that. These are very important pieces that's been released on Veve, and they're still requesting that more gets released. Like these golden moments, these are the only golden moments that exist. These are the only golden moments that exist, and they're giving them all to Veve. It's like, I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot of moving pieces, man. It's definitely a lot of moving pieces, and some things concerning, others not so much. But yeah, I mean, we're just really waiting to see what happens.
Seems like it probably has more weight than a couple announcements saying, Disney Plus is the metaverse or whatever. Is that
exactly
your feeling
exactly
too?
Yeah. My feeling is like they're just reinforcing Disney Plus for right now to try to pump or keep the excitement around the stock, and that Mike White will do his work, and he'll clearly see the Disney theme park on the blockchain is so blaring there with neon lights and sirens. Like, this is the way to go. I'm sure he'll get there.
Yeah, like I don't know. I don't think that that's definitely the way to go. Mainly because interoperability is what's going to be pushing these things. So what's happened historically is these companies all come out, do their own things, and everybody's competing with each other. I think the benefit of this technology is now you can have smart contracts and everybody can get paid working together. This collaborative experience, a company really focused and specialized on building a metaverse, which is what Veve aspires to be. This is what Veve is working towards, this vision of having an experience with your collectibles, having an AR game, having all this stuff. This is what Veve is all about, the experience. So I feel like these companies would benefit more from allowing their IP to be used as in this experience, and maybe gearing their online worlds to something different, like something different from Veve. But then again, we don't know what Veve has in up his sleeves. We don't know what Vive's plan is, so we don't actually know what's different. What would be different about a different metaverse? So we don't know what would be different about Vive's metaverse versus Disney's metaverse, or if they're going to connect, or how they even could connect. There's just not a lot of information around it. This guy, he's clearly just seeing dollar signs. That's all he cares about is dollar signs. He's never understood the vision that Veve and Disney are working towards right now. But based on hearing the CEO talk about the metaverse, I believe that he's on the same page with David Yu, in my opinion. That's what it appears to be. I could be wrong, but they're on the same page. They have the same vision, and it sounds like they're working together in some capacity. But I don't know. Like, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. How did you all feel about this, y'all? Let me know in the comment section down below. We're going to end it here. This was interesting watch. Be sure to drop that thumbs up, subscribe, turn on notifications so you stay updated. And yeah, I'm going to catch you all in the next one. Peace out, y'all.